Hello guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So today's messages for the collective are from Lucifer and Leviathan, okay? So we got joint messages from Lucifer and Leviathan. I just have to note this because I feel like it's going to be significant and important to the reading. But when I was like preparing the cards, my head started hurting. You know what I mean? Like my head started like hurting. I'm talking about like the back of my head, not like the front. And it's been kind of hurting, and I'm not really quite sure why that is, but I kind of have a feeling it has to do with some type of spiritual gifts, which we're probably going to jump into with this reading. Also, I felt like the need to just like pause before I did this reading and get outside and go to my backyard and think a little. So I feel like maybe it's just like also something to do with the crown, you know what I mean, and insights coming in and a lot of messages coming in, generally speaking, to you guys. Like, you guys are just really sensitive to spirits, just intuitive, you know what I mean? Also, like, third eye, I feel like you can see stuff. You can see visions from the other side. You have a lot of downloads that come in every single day, but I feel like maybe you're being a little bit overwhelmed with them. So that's where, like, the headache comes into play, I guess. But it's time to start addressing some of these messages, because I feel like they're building up because you're just not seeing them, right? Because these messages almost kind of look like, they look normal. They look like they're a part of your like day-to-day life, but they're very significant, okay? They're very significant to what is going on right now. And just because they look normal, just because they, look like they are, just regularly a part of your life, doesn't mean that, you know what I mean? There's depth in your life that you aren't seeing at this current point in time. And it has a lot to do with, like, honestly, like, a portal is what I was thinking about. It has a lot to do with the portal. It has a lot to do with why you're here. It just also has a lot to do with, like, you as a teacher, because I understand that you guys, you're here to teach a lot of the collective and give cult knowledge, you know what I mean? Also, just like, you just aren't human. You just like aren't human is what I'm, that's just what I thought of. Maybe because maybe there's a significance with like aliens and stuff like that, especially since I used the Mystic Martian Oracle today on Lucifer's side of the reading. But you just feel different from other humans. And so therefore, like, I feel like it is also because you just gather a lot of knowledge. You have like this just very close connection to the spirits. So maybe you yourself, you're a portal. Maybe that's what this portal energy is. You're a portal. Well, anyways, let's just get into the message. Let's start off with the tarot. Okay? Let's start off with the tarot. So we have 10 of Cups. We have Death. We have King of Swords. And we have the Hermit. So at this current point in time, there's celebration. There's a lot of like bubbling energy. There's a lot of intense energy. This intense energy is coming because, like I said, it's a lot of it has to do with the portal, okay? And especially with this death energy. See, behind them, it almost looks like a portal. And it's right in their crown area. It's in Boyle's crown area. So there's a portal of some sort. You're being connected to these beings that you can't see at this current point in time. And you're alone right now, especially with the Hermit energy. You're alone. Maybe you've lost friends, lost people. Or just you've felt the need to just isolate and think. Think about why you're here, think about your life, kind of think about what you need to do. Within this time that you're alone, within this solitary time, the portal is growing bigger. Okay, this portal to the other side is growing bigger. The portal between your spirits and you know, the physical 3D world it's expanding. And it's something that's exciting, obviously. Because with that, I feel like there is a blessing that is coming. Like a drop of knowledge with the King of Swords. You're going to become more intuitive. It's not like you guys weren't, but I'm just saying, like, because you're going to be closely connected to the spiritual realm, you know, within this era of time, you're going to be more intuitive. You're going to have a lot of knowledge to give. I also felt like, I know this might sound crazy, but like possession almost. It's almost like possession, because it's like all of a sudden you get like this knowledge, you get all of this like information that you never had before. It almost feels like you're a different person entirely. And maybe you are just like stepping into like your teacher era. You know what I mean? You're yeah, you're stepping into your teacher era. So I feel like that's what's going on right now. There's a portal opening, okay? And you're growing wiser from this. And it's meant to open at this current point in your life. Now, I feel like it may be just for you. But I also kind of felt, you know, it's a collective energy. You know, I kind of felt like it's a collective energy. It's kind of weird, because it's like, I don't see that it's like completely open for everybody in this goddamn world. But I feel like it's like open for a select few, this portal. Okay, and if you're watching this, and if you're interested in what I'm saying, then you know you're part of that few, right? But it's very significant, especially with like this bird. Do you see this bird? The bird is delivering the messages. The bird is giving insight. You guys are meant to give insight, okay? So your gifts are really growing, okay? And you're gaining a lot of new ones as well at this current point in time. And this is just like a very exciting, celebratory energy, okay? We got the 10 of Cups. You know, this is a very exciting time. Because you're really aligned with the divine, you know what I mean? You're really aligned with the spirits right now, but you're aligned most importantly with your purpose, with your creator energy, right? So I feel like this is like a really significant time in your life. Like this is something that has been waiting to happen, and I feel like there had to be a shift of some sort, and you had to be alone during this, because this is your moment, okay? So, wow. Let's get into this, because I really want to know more about all of this. So let's start off with like Lucifer's side. Okay. Let's start off with his side of the message. Okay, we have blue avians. Let me see if I can move these cards a little bit so we can have some space for the reading. So we have blue avians. I don't know if you can see, because the sun is like literally blinding us at this current point in time. But I'm sitting in front of my window because I'm trying to get the messages in from the outside world, you know? And I just feel like my head is flipping exploding, so. Alright, we have alchemy, the philosopher's stone, alpha draconians, and we have crop circles. Okay. Ooh, I hope you guys didn't hear my arm pop, because it was kind of nasty. Alright, so mysticism. Like I said, aligning with the divine energy, with creator energy, with God energy, which is you. You're a creator and God in your own right. And you're aligning with that energy, because you're here to create. You're here to give wisdom, okay? Third eye. Third eye opening, seeing a lot of things, awakening, visions. Visions at night, within the darkness, within your sleep. I also like imagine you like walking through like a stream of water, but it's like dark, like an undefined location, just walking through a stream of water. It's almost like nowhere, but I've kind of imagined the stream of water to be like your thoughts. So revisiting some of the synchronicities and signs that you have gained, especially with crop circles, okay? There's I mean, one of the key words of crop circles is curiosity. So there is this curiosity for like what is beyond the realm of knowledge that you have. It's also a curiosity to really tap into like the synchronicities, like what does it all mean? So I feel like that's what's going on right now. You're like opening the door to magic. You're welcoming the next level of magic in your life. Does it make sense? Like what I was trying to say is that your gifts are growing, especially with alchemy. And right now, like you're figuring things out. And I also feel like there's an initiation of some sort with Alpha Draconians. You know what I mean? Like there's a private initiation. This is why the Hermit energy is here. You're experiencing a private initiation right now with these beings that are coming through this portal. Okay, I saw 1010 and 1111. I saw 1010 when I was talking about the crop circles, and I saw 1111 when I mentioned the portal. See, you know, you're experiencing a private initiation right now. Okay, nobody else will be experiencing this with you. Okay, and I feel like maybe you guys usually roam in groups, or you know, you involve yourself with like a lot of other people, or you're like, you know, involved in spiritual like clubs and things of that nature. Clubs is such a childish word, but you know what I'm saying. Like you involve yourself in a lot of spiritual groups and things like that. But I have like a feeling where it's like it's time to like leave these, because now it's time to experience your own growth and initiation outside of it. Okay, maybe like you just feel comfortable with other people. You know what I mean? You feel comfortable being in other people's presence. But it's time to like step outside of that and be alone for a little bit. I feel that's for some. But for the most part, like a lot of you guys like just are used to being in groups, or, you know, following the spirituality that a lot of other people follow, or like just taking a traditional take on spirituality, which I don't think is necessarily bad. Like, let's say like if you're a witch or whatever, you know, you might take a traditional take on witchcraft, which, like through paganism, or, you know, just like the regular traditional Wicca stuff. But I feel like maybe it's time to like step away from that and go down your own path, go down your own, I guess like, what am I trying to say? You guys get what I'm trying to say. It's time to like awaken to your path, your understanding of spirituality, not like a conglomerate, not like the spirituality that has already been set up for you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like it's time to like really start looking at it through your own lens, through your own life experiences. Okay, and there's visions that you're seeing that are awakening you to that. You know, it reminds me of when I was in when I was like, I think a freshman in high school. Sorry, no, I wasn't a freshman. I was still in like 8th grade. Okay, so you know, I've always been into the spiritual shit my whole entire life. You know, probably because I was raised in a cult. You know, I was raised in a cult, so you know, I've been into the spiritual shit my whole entire life. But when I was like 14 years old, let's say 13, 14 years old, 8th grade, like around the springtime near my birthday. I think I was 13. Okay, I was 13. So around the springtime, you know, near my birthday, there's one night where I had like just such a weird vision. I had a vision, and this was right after having a dream of me like eating off of a plate of, I guess like, it was like meat, right? In the dream I ate off of like a slab of meat that was on a plate. You know, it wasn't cooked either, which is so disgusting. You know, the pool of blood, like that's disgusting as hell. After I had that dream, I had like this vision of, you know, a pyramid, like abracadabra. You know, it starts with an A and then it goes all the way down to abracadabra. I had a vision of that and the ram. Okay. I feel like, oh no, I haven't dropped that episode of Why I Chose Satan. I was about to say, oh, I talked about this in Why I Chose Satan episode 2. Like, I haven't dropped it. I don't think I ever will. Because it's just taking too long to complete, you know what I mean? But I had this vision, okay, about being a magician. And I never really understood it. You know, especially since it was during like my dream state. I never really understood that vision because it was just kind of like confusing. It's like I understood abracadabra obviously, and I understood like the significance of the ram, but I just didn't understand like what it really meant at that time. And maybe it's like for you guys, you gain like a lot of visions and things like that that are just confusing, that don't really make sense, or you just see things that are like just like far out there, you know what I mean? But they're all spiritual and they do have significance. And at this current point in time, like you are working to uncover that significance alone. And for me, like obviously that was an initiation for me as I guess a witch. I don't really ever call myself a witch, you know, I used to when I was a kid, but but like as a magician, you know what I mean, which is pretty much the same thing. But you know, like I had that initiation. I had an initiation where the universe had told me that I was a creator in my own right. That all of the creation energy that I could ever seek, all of the manifestation I could ever seek, all that power could be found within me, with abracadabra and the ram, which is a reflection of my ovaries. So, you know, maybe it didn't make sense at the time because I was like 13 years old and I was like, okay, I'm like, what the fuck? I'll be doing this shit like that. But you know, as time progressed, as I like continued to look into the vision, I was like, oh shit, you know, that's probably what it was saying. And I feel like you guys are gonna have a lot of visions like that, especially with like, you know, this third eye imagery that we have going on here. Like you're gonna have a lot of visions that are initiating you, that are telling you what it is you're here to do and why you're on this earth. You know, hopefully it doesn't sound schizophrenic. Because sometimes I have like this innate fear. It's like so weird to me. Sometimes I have this innate fear that normal people will find my channel and be like, what the hell are you talking about? It's funny, but it's just like, please. Oh my gosh. Anyways. So let's continue. Let's continue what Luz has to say, okay? Her little cauldron. Okay. The witch shows her daughter the moon. Transcendent amidst the everyday. And we have spells from the hearth reversed. So yeah, like I said, like this is like a hermit type journey because her little cauldron, she's like away from everybody. Okay. She's away from everybody. She's practicing her craft alone. And, you know, she observes the society that's going on around her, but she's not like involved with it. Like, you know, you're leaving those groups. You're leaving behind people so you can learn more about yourself. And once you learn more about yourself during this little era of your life, during this portal, this era of the portal, you're going to teach others what you saw, which with the witch shows her daughter the fucking moon. Goddamn, why am I stuttering? You know, you're going to teach people what you saw, what your visions, you know, were showing you, was showing you. Is that correct? Is that correct, too? You know, you're going to teach people what you saw because you're a teacher at the end of the day, okay? And all these things that you're seeing, it's like telling you the truth. It's also aligning you with your power, you know? And transcendent amidst the everyday, like I told you guys, like there are signs in your day-to-day life that some of you guys, like, you know, might miss. Every single aspect of your life is so important, even the things that you think are small. You know what I mean? Like a little dragonfly lands on your shoulder. You know, it like seems all small in the moment, but is so significant to your life. All these little things that are happening. And so like if you think that you're seeing the signs, if you think you're seeing patterns, you're right, you are seeing things, you are seeing patterns. All right, and you're starting to become restless with the reverse energy of spells from the hearth. You're starting to become restless because it's like this portal is growing bigger. It's growing bigger. You're growing restless. I feel like maybe some of you guys, like, you know, struggle to sleep. I feel that. I feel that. Struggle to sleep because there's just so much information coming in. So it's time to like really lock into the synchronicities that you're seeing. Okay, I don't know if like we're gonna get into that, but I have a feeling that, Leviathan's gonna let us know. So let me just pause the message and we can start setting up Leviathans. So I just set up Leviathan's portion of the reading, as you guys can all tell. So let's get into what he has to say, because let's start with the night, okay? Because I think I did mention while I was, reading this that, like, there's darkness, there's shadow, you're staying up at night, you're restless, okay? So with the night meaning, it's asking you to befriend the shadow and the spirits of the shadow. So to befriend your own shadow first and foremost, okay? When it comes down to befriending your own shadow, it's looking into what you have not seen before about yourself, okay? Either that or what you hide about yourself, okay? And within this hidden part of yourself, there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge that you have yet to really like uncover in your life or utilize, okay? So as you guys already know, you're shadow magicians, okay? You use the darkness. Use the darkness to illuminate, to create, okay? And so therefore, oh, see, look, we got the shadow card. You use the darkness as a tool of creation. And I feel like with this, obviously you're going to be very connected with like a lot of gosha spirits, demons, spirits of darkness, because that is your tool. And that's who you guys are. You know what I mean? Maybe at one point, you were a little ghoul, a little demon. Okay? Now you're living the human experience to teach magic. I kind of give, like, it's kind of giving, like, Azazel vibes. I also kind of, like, thought about something else, like, while I was like, kind of preparing, Leviathan's portion of the reading, like, I was thinking about something. I was thinking about, like, another, like, oh, it reminded me of King Solomon. Okay, because I did mention, like, Gosha spirits. Okay, and especially with the gift card. I'm sorry, there's just, like, so much I gotta say. There's so much I gotta say, but it's just, like, I feel like you guys utilize the darkness as a tool. Okay, the spirits of the darkness, the spirits of the night. But also your darkness, your dark energy is a tool of creation. And that's why you're so closely linked up with, like, the dark. Maybe you like horror. Maybe you like a lot of gothic things, you're alternative. You like that because that is just like your origin story. That's who you are beyond this lifetime, as a soul. You're just a dark soul, okay? And, a lot of people talk about dark night of the soul and how it's like a dark transformation. It's really sad. But I feel like when I say dark night of the soul in this sense, like I feel like you guys yourself are the dark night. You utilize that darkness, that dark energy to transform, to change, but to also teach. And what does the dark night of the soul do? It teaches you about who you are. It helps you awaken to your spirituality, whatever level of spirituality that you're at. Is that even the right terminology for level of spirituality? Like, it helps you awaken to like that next portion of your life. You know what I mean? Whatever spirituality has been hidden, once before is revealed. But I feel like you guys, throughout your whole entire journey, you embody that dark night. And I don't see it in a negative light. It's just like the darkness is just your friend, right? Okay? So the night encourages you to like befriend those dark energies, okay? And so I kind of want to jump over to the gift, okay, which is right next to the shadow. I want to jump over to that because when I was like reading the meaning of the card, I was like, huh. It's interesting because, the woman in the card is supposed to be Pandora, and she's supposed to be, opening the gift, you know what I mean? Like, she's hesitant about it. But I'm kind of like, I kind of get with that. Like, it kind of reminds me, obviously, of the brass vessel. Okay? Especially, like, you see, like, it's open and all, like, the smoke coming from it. It reminds me of the brass vessel. And I feel like in this reading, it is representative of the brass vessel. And obviously the brass vessel is supposed to hold like all the demons and stuff like that, and it was opened and then they all came out and they poured out and caused chaos. But I feel like the brass vessel is like representative of your spirit guides opening that part of the portal and allowing them in your life. You know what I mean? So like I feel like it's representative, like the portal is like the brass vessel. It's opening up it's opening up the spiritual world in your life. And I feel like right now you're opening up the spiritual world. Does that make sense? Like I feel like I feel like I'm not conveying this properly. But it's just like it's such a strange, well not strange, I don't mean strange as in bad, but it's just such a deep message that I feel like there's just so much like depth to give. And I don't really know how to fully even like capture it in words. But just imagine like opening this vessel and a bunch of spirits flying out of it and a bunch of knowledge and the world just being overcome with the shadow, with the darkness. That's the best way I could probably describe that card for you. But the gift also represents, you know, your spiritual gifts. Within this vessel, you have spiritual gifts that are being given to you, new spiritual gifts that you've not been able to tap into before. So I feel like that's really interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of this is just very interesting, especially Leviathan's portion that, you know, really talks about, like, just, like, the deep darkness, okay? And maybe it's, like, a lot of, like I said, a lot of the downloads are coming in at night. When you're in the shadow. When things are dark. You're aligned with the energies of darkness right now. Okay, now the shadow itself tells you to follow your heart because your heart is, you know, the shadow. That is the full, unapologetic version of you. You know, Leviathan tells you to follow your heart and listen to your intuition. So right now is a really great time to, like, align with your purpose and to do the things that, you know, you're wanting to do at this current point in time, whatever it is that you hope and dream of. This is a great time, especially with the portal being open since you have a lot of helping hands. And the octopus, you know, when I first saw the card, I thought about like playing as two people. It's like maybe right now it would be like wise to not talk to anyone about what it is that you're experiencing. I'm talking about just like anyone willy-nilly, you know what I mean? Because eventually you will talk to people about it since, you know, you're a teacher with the witch shows her daughter the moon. It's going to be an experience that you're going to experience, but right now I feel like it's just not a great time to talk to people about it. Because obviously, you know, they're not going to get, especially people you don't trust, like especially if you're leaving a structure of spirituality behind. You know, if you're leaving some type of cult or, you know, group behind, it would be great to not let them know. So they don't interfere with this energy, so they don't interfere with the portal in your life. But it's also recommending you, like with the octopus, to spend time with your spirituality. You know, you don't always have to sit up here and like, you know, be locked in with the spiritual aspect of things 24/7/38. But make sure that you make sure that you're setting aside time for your spirituality. All right? So I guess we should like drop into like the second part of the reading. Or I guess second part of Leviathan's message. We have let go. We have born, we have sonnet, and we have familiar. I want to start off with the familiar card. So, you know, I saw the bird in the death card right here. So maybe you're familiar as a bird. And in the familiar card, I mean, there is a bird. So maybe you're familiar as a bird, but I at this current point in time with this whole entire portal opening, it's allowing your familiar come in. So you can expect that, or just connecting with a lot of animal spirits, connecting with nature as this is all going on, because, you know, I got the window open. You know, I need to lock in with nature to give these messages, okay? So I feel like with nature, you're going to discover more about yourself, okay? Especially with the crop circles card that Lucifer was giving. It's time to get out in nature because this is where your synchronicities are going to start flooding in, okay? Especially if you can get out at night. If you can't, then don't. But I'm just saying, like, if you can get out at night, then get out at night. All right? But I just feel like really locking in with, like, nature is a great idea right now. It can also just bring clarity to the synchronicities. Thinking in nature, you know what I mean? I understand it's a heat wave where I'm at, but I'm just saying, like, you know, try if you can. Open the window like I am. And just think. Because your mind will eventually tell you, like, what these messages mean if you don't know. Also, like, I think you guys need to, like, genuinely relax. Especially with, like, this whole entire portal opening for you. don't try to like multitask and overwhelm yourself with just a bunch of like, I guess, meaningless things. I'm not trying to say that like if you're like, I'm not trying to say working or whatever is meaningless, but I'm saying like just don't overwhelm yourself with things that just don't matter anymore. Because some of you guys, like, you'll just like waste your time doing things because it gives you something to do. Like, I'd be doing that too, but I'm just saying, like, you know, sometimes you just waste your time doing things because it gives you something to do. Like, you know, eases your mind. But like if it's taking up so much, like this is like a specific message. If it's taking up like a lot of your time, then like, and it's like stressing you out, and you're taking on unnecessary amounts of work, then like don't do that because it's distracting. It's a distraction from what is happening at this current point in time. Okay, it's distracting. But also just like generally speaking, like release the person you once were. Because that person's weighing down on you, and allow yourself to transform into the person that you're meant to become, especially with this born energy. Okay, embrace the new you that is currently, you know, walking through this portal. Redefine your identity right now. So, and then what's on that? Connect with your creativity, because that's like God energy, okay? That's like, you are God. You are the creator in your life. Connect with that energy, because it's also going to help you align with like your spirituality. It's also going to help you receive more messages, more synchronicities, and be closely connected with the spirits. Okay, so connect with your creativity, because it's also like, there's also a message of following your dreams, especially if they're creative, because I feel like they're going to really work out in the long term. So start now. So I feel like that's it. I feel like I should pull keywords though, because I usually pull keywords at the end, so I will. Yeah, I'll do that. I need to sit down my microphone though. Alright, y'all, so I went to go do some shit, and I'm back. So I'm about to pull the keywords, and then we're gonna end this reading. What keywords do Lucifer and Leviathan have? Okay, so let's look at the keywords. We have trust. So trust everything that's happening right now, okay? You don't have to really do that much when it comes down to this whole entire like portal opening, okay? So just relax, okay, with the doing too much card. Everything that they're saying is sincere. So have trust in them, have trust in these beings that are guiding you, all right? And remember that they will always, always love you, okay? These are your spirit guides. So trust them. And just remember that at the end of the day, guess what? You are loved. You are important on this earth, okay? So those are the keywords, and that's also the reading. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe, you know, hit the like button, comment down below what you thought. If you're interested in donating me a deck, you can through my throne wish list. You know, purchase me a new deck for the channel or some spiritual supplies, whatever it may be. And I'll see you guys very soon. Take care and goodbye.